SBC. Good evening, SBCC. Good evening, BSL. And good evening to everyone else within the sound of my voice, north, south, east, and west. You are tuned in to the May 9th, 2023 edition of SBC Tuesday Talk. And I am your host and head chef and teacher and van driver and whatever else you want to add to it. Mike Walker, glad to have each and every one of y'all here with us. We hope and pray that you had a good day today. And if not, we pray that things get better as the night progresses. Thank you so much for deciding to spend at least an hour with us out of your busy schedule on this Tuesday night. We don't take it for granted. We don't take it lightly. We do appreciate it. And Father, folks, I don't know. It's been so many technical difficulties. Power went out and everything. So y'all pray. This must gonna be a good one though. Y'all pray, please, though. And if I happen to leave, give me about 5 to 6 minutes. I'll come back here one way or the other, though. So let's stay put. Okay, we all in this together. Okay. Without further ado, let's get with our salutations. From Guyana, Lynn Brown, glad to have you here. Missionary Madison from Long Island, great to have you here, ma'am. Lucky Pierre, my friend, good to have you here. Miss D Balls, great to have you here, ma'am. Looking lovely. Reginald Johnson, good to have you here, sir. Great to have you here, sir. Diamond D, good to have you here. Shine like a diamond. Shariz Monique, good to have you here from Connecticut. Great to have you here. My friend Barton Wallace, good to have you here from Maryland. And let's see, yep, you're from there. Of course, I love it too. That's why I picked it. Thank you so much, Tiffany from South Carolina. Valerie Cabot from Huntsville, Alabama. Good to have you here. Janice Watt, good to have you here. Sharon Taylor from Aurora, Colorado. Good to have you here. Reginald Balders, Pastor Balders from North Carolina by way of Ohio. Glad to have you here, sir. It's an honor to have you here, sir. Rita Jones Brandon, good to have you. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. Erica Young, good evening. Also checking in from Maryland. Great. Regina Dawn Rose Baker, always good to have you here. Great to have you here, ma'am. Renee Duncan with David Ruffin in her in her profile. Nobody came to see you, Otis. Okay, glad to have you here. Carmelita from Beham Metro, hello to you as well. Teresa Jones from North Carolina, the ice cream lady, good to have you here. Cherie Turner from H-Town, Houston, Texas, good to have you here. Thank you. You always look good, and thank you. I accept that compliment. Thank you so much. I try my best. Lucky Pierre. Somebody trying to shoot their shot. Shit. Y'all take this to the room now at the after party, okay? Ooh, I like that. I'll let you borrow it, okay? When we meet up one day, I'll let you borrow it, okay? Sis Mobley, Jamaica Mobley, good. I'm doing good. Great to have you here. Boy, y'all coming in. I love this. Lakeisha, favored by the king. I like that. Good evening to you. Krista McCoy, greetings to you. Santi D. Williams Archer from Albany, Georgia, in the house. Good to have you here. Okay, I'm glad to be here. Sean Lanice Johnson, good evening to you. Miss Diva, my first time. Oh, good. That's fantastic. I hope this is your first time, and hopefully this won't be your last, though. So we'll try to do our best, though. Y'all make it feel at home, y'all. And Red Dawn Bell, good evening to you as well. Okay, well, folks, we're gonna get started here. We're gonna get started. Uh and we're gonna get started. And we got some good topics for tonight, though. And the first one, being zombied. Being zombied. Okay. My good friend, Missionary Madison, she brought this to my attention. And it's a pretty interesting thing. I think I've been zombied, and I've done some zombieing myself, though. Tried to zombie, though. So I bet y'all wondering, what is being zombied? Well, I always have a video, so y'all take a listen.
Girl, you're being ghosted? I'm out here being zombied. It's like ghosting, but he comes back from the dead after a couple months and hits you up. Girl, you're being ghosted? I'm out here being zombied. It's like ghosting, but he comes back from the dead after a couple months and hits you up.
Okay, being zombied. Being zombied. How many of y'all had that person that y'all was dating or at least talking to? You know how we say we talking to. And then they disappear off the, no, we're not talking about a few days, but they disappear from the face of the universe for about several months. Then they pop back up as if nothing has happened, business as usual, and expect things to go from there like they were months ago. I think that's audacious to do something like that. But guess what? I've done it too. So I'm a bit embarrassed about that. But hey, I like being transparent with y'all. So let's see what the family got to say. And I'm gonna still do some acknowledging. And I'm glad you're here too. I'm glad you was finally, yes. Commonly, yes, been there. Ain't that something? And they come up with the craziest lines though. Oh, I've been here and there. Uh, didn't know that's what it was called. Well, you know what? I think that's a relatively new term that they're using. It might have been called something else for this young lady said it though. But being zombied, hey, it goes good with being ghosted. They kind of go together though. So being zombied, yes. That's what it's called. Yeah, just like I said, hey, we could use that, being zombied, you know. Uh-oh. We call that big head season. Okay. Yep. Okay. Ooh, let's see. Yep. hmm And again, I didn't know there was a name for it. Like I said, this is relatively new. I like this, Erica Young. With the hello stranger text. Now, don't you hate that? That happened to me this year several times. They say they'll call back, or I call them, they'll return the call. And it'll be months later. Months later. Hey there, hey stranger, you acting funny. You lost my phone number or something? Well, you don't want to disappear for months and months at a time, though. Not necessarily ghosting, you just disappeared. Man, okay. Oh, that's what that means. Just happened to me. Really? Sure, you got to tell us about it. Especially in the after party, though. I'm ready for this, though. My good friend Stephanie, good to have you here. Yep, that's the hey stranger. I have learned not to respond back. Absolutely. Absolutely. If they haven't communicated with you all this time, what's the point of communicating with them now? Oh, y'all coming in. I love this. That's why I love the family. Yeah. Yep, that's the text. Yeah, exactly. Uh-oh. Oh, it's gonna be one in the group. Uh, since you are being transparent, why have you done it? Well, sometimes, and this gonna sound kind of lame, I'm a bad procrastinator. Or I find myself doing my own thing, get into my own thing, and sometimes I've been sniffing somewhere else, and then decide that things didn't come through right there. I came back, and of course, nothing was going to happen. They look, no, let me hit reverse. Sometimes things, I got another chance. Sometimes, but most often than not, mm, you know. And then same thing happened to me. They come back. I'd be like, the fella ain't worth nothing, huh? So I hope this answers the question though. I'm glad you asked that though. Charlene, good to have you here, ma'am. Okay, Angela. The person came back after a few years as if nothing happened. No explanation, no apology, and acted surprised that I moved on. They're like, man, you acting funny. You done found somebody already? It's been years. It's been years. What I supposed to do? Man, y'all getting me today. OMG, that's the worst thing about meeting people online. They lose interest and think about it and then be like, hey, she was all right. Exactly. Rita. Same thing happened to me, shaking my head. Goodness. Let me see who we got here. Lynn Pennington Pearl. Good to have you here. Yep. Angela, my good friend Angela. Could be a narcissist that is out of their current supply. That's a good way to look at it. That's a great way to look at it. Okay. Hey, Sherry. Lily Doyle from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Good to have you here. Don't you love it when they do it in person? Oh man. When you run into them at an event, I've learned to keep it moving. No time for the head games. Absolutely. They'll look at you like a scared cat. Well, I haven't heard from you in a long time. Well, I haven't heard from you. Okay. Oh, thank you. I try to be honest with y'all. Hey y'all, just okay. You need a pass from the principal office though. So okay. He asked if I was married yet. The nerve, huh? The nerve. And sometimes exes do that. You married yet? You got somebody? Why you concerned though? You want to come back? What? What do you want to know? And then they act surprised. Jukebox Scott. Good to have you here. Good to have you. Colin Green. Good to have you here, sir. Man. So and again, the practice isn't new, obviously. The practice isn't new. But like I said, this is just a new name by this young lady. And then, somebody else may call it something completely different. Will this title will catch on? Who knows? Who knows? Lucky Pierre. Give me a few months. I've been ghosted on. I had to move on because if you don't move on, you'll be stressed out. Agree. Sis Angus, good to have you here. So there you go with that. I hope that answered the question about being zombied and what it entails, though. So being zombied is not fun, and it's not good. So okay, good. And that was just the opener. That was just a little appetizer, though. So y'all ready to move on to why y'all here? And before you do, you know what to do. You know what to do. You know what to do. Up next, the main title is Loneliness, Understanding, and Addressing the Impact of Social Isolation. So, but for brevity, I'm going to call this topic the loneliness epidemic. Loneliness epidemic. Okay? And I'm going to explain to you what it is. And this coming from the U.S. Public Health, the U.S. Surgeon General. Okay, here we go. I'm going to read this. The latest public health epidemic, widespread loneliness in the U.S., poses health risk as deadly as smoking up to 15 cigarettes daily, costing the health industry billions of dollars annually. In recent years, about 1 in 2 adults in America reported experiencing loneliness. This was before the COVID-19 pandemic cut off so many of us from friends, loved ones, and support systems. The declaration is intended to raise awareness around loneliness, but will not unlock federal funding or programming devoted to combating the issue. So, so I hope this kind of give you a little information where we're going with this, and I hope, and if you have any questions, please ask. But that's pretty much where we heading right now. Of course, I got footage and what have you, though. So I'm gonna show that in a little bit. Let me see who else. Let me see. Let me see. Is this Rita? Have you internalizing their dysfunction? Moving on this. I think. Okay, she's talking about the previous one. Okay. Okay. Of course. Let me read to you. Let me play statistics. Okay. I'm gonna play to you a statistic. Y'all take a listen.
Everyone is literally ending up alone. Look at these statistics. These findings came out for 2022, and it said that 30% of all adults were not in a committed relationship, married, or living with a partner. And then when they broke this down by gender, it was 34% of women who are single and 63% of men. And then it reported that only about 50% of men even want to date, which means half of men don't even want a committed relationship or a casual relationship. This is down from 61% in 2019, and for women, it also decreased. We know that loneliness is bad for our emotional health, but it's also bad for our physical health. I'm super curious, what do you guys think is going on here?
Some interesting statistics, though. And of course, they saying us fellas, over half of us don't want a committed relationship. I don't know. I want one, though, but that's what they say. So, has this, well, what caught me? Okay, what I read to you, they say this was going on prior to the pandemic, though. So, how many of y'all are dealing with loneliness out there? How many of you all dealing with loneliness? And let me read this. I got some more stuff I want to play to you, and maybe we can get down to this, though. Here we go. These are 3 types of loneliness. Feel free to chime in. Please let us know which one you dealt with. Okay, so y'all take a listen.
And maybe it's because we don't know that there are 3 kinds of loneliness. So I think the first thing is to identify which form of loneliness you're even experiencing. So there's intimate loneliness. That means that you feel like you are not intimately known. For a lot of people, this is satisfied by, your romantic partner or a best friend, but to feel really known by another person. Okay. Intimate loneliness. Then there's relational loneliness, meaning you lack friendships and relationships with a multitude of people who they know you know them, right? Relational loneliness. And then there's collective loneliness, meaning you are not a part of a bigger cause, of a group, of something that reminds you that there's something greater than yourself. And I think that's what a lot of us, I say us because we've all been there, right? I think that's what a lot of us are missing, is that part, is feeling like you're a part of something greater than yourself. And so here.
Okay. That's some good stuff right there. So, and again, transparency. So I start the discussion off, though. Prior to the pandemic, I was in a relationship and it ended. And during the pandemic, I experienced loneliness. Like she said, I experienced loneliness of friends and family. I experienced loneliness of being in groups, physically groups, not online groups, but physical groups. But since this is a singles group, top of the line, intimate loneliness. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about having sex or what have you. Of course, that could be part of it though. But just having that person to hold, having that person to hold you, to kiss, to smell their scent, providing they took a bath, to be around them, to hug them, and with me being a man, to feel her softness, you know, or things that make her a woman. And last year I was in a relationship and I experienced those things. So it didn't last, but it reminded me of what I was missing though. I was already missing it, but it reminded me how that stuff felt. And it felt good. It felt real good though. So what do y'all have to say? What do you have to say? Oh, y'all get it. This let me see. Y'all got some. Stephanie Borden may be intimate, but I enjoy my peace. And you know what? Put a pin right there. People like to throw around being an introvert. You know, I guess that was the buzzword. You know, it's very popular to be an introvert when you probably not. You know, some people are extroverted introvert. So y'all get that. I love my me time. Now, don't get me wrong. I love being with that young lady, though. But sometimes I do enjoy that peace. Well, not no. Sometimes, all the time, I enjoy that peace. So that's a good part right there. Brother Pierre, people don't want to commit anymore. People complain it's too much work, lack of patience, lack of attention. And you know what? That's a good thing right there. I don't think it's all people, you know, because they like to dog us guys out, but there are some ladies that didn't want to commit either. I think it's 50-50, personally, though. And being in a relationship that's worth it, it's going to take work. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. It's going to take communication. A real relationship that's worth having, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to put in the hours. Sometimes you may have to work overtime, though. But a real relationship that's worth it, you're going to do what you need to do to keep it together. Rita Jones, I believe that to be true. Many are now at the half stage of life. And whether divorce, being widowed, or just having bad relationships have caused people, especially men, to embrace single, thus remaining alone because no one wants to put in the work for commitment. So while loneliness is not good, the toxicity is worse. And it's something to think about, though. You know, would I rather be with somebody and it's toxic and they working my nerves or what have you? Or do I have my peace? You know, I don't have to answer to anyone, don't have to fuss with anyone. But guess what, though? You won't, you know, it's 6 in one hand and half a dozen in the other, though. You want peace, but you want that person. Can you have peace and have that person? I think you can at some point, though. But that's just me, though. Okay? Regina, everyone should desire physical touch. I think that's human. I think that's human nature. Yep. Uh, Sis Pearl, I think I'm dealing with all three to a certain extent. I can believe that. I can truly believe that. It's popular. Oh, yes. Yes. People used to be a time you didn't even know what the word introvert was. And all of a sudden, everybody and their parents became introverts. You know, that and being a nerd. All of a sudden, that become popular, though. So, you know, I think that was the end thing to do. So, you know, Naomi, pre-pandemic, I've always considered myself an introvert. So being alone doesn't bother me. During the pandemic, I work in an industry that never shut down. So I was always around people at work, but I suffered greatly with the intimate loneliness. In other words, you still in, let me see, you had a party, but you still alone or something like that. And I think that was a song. Andrea, good to have you here. I have experienced all of these at some point. After I divorced in 2011, after almost 18 years of marriage, it took time for me to find myself. The more I got to know me, the more involved I became. Mm, mm. Renee Duncan, I personally experienced all these at different stages in my life, but sometimes I'm so busy that I don't have time to feel it between working and church and other commitments. Right now, I'm trying to find time to relax and sleep. Okay, so, but in between those times, those activities, work, church, and what have you, though, don't you just think about that person just a little bit? Don't you think about those wants and needs just a little bit? I understand you can't just dwell on it though, but when you lie down at night, when you go to bed at night, do you think about that? Let me see. Sis Minifield, good to have you here. I love my me time, self-love, but I miss having a partner, spouse, relationship. I'm praying that God bless me with my life-lasting special person. Okay, and that's a good point, though. And that's a good point. And you don't have to answer it here though, but have you had any troubles finding that partner because the gentleman couldn't handle you being in the ministry? Let us know that. Or have you tried to date other ministers? And how did that go? Let us know. If it's not asking too much, not being too nosy. Okay. Peace of mind is always better for your health physically, mentally, and spiritually. Yep. Tiffany Murphy. That person should add to your peace. They should be one of the places that you can put the gloves down and just be yourself. Okay. Marcus, good to have you here, sir. It is probable that I am in the intimate category, but dealing with loneliness in general has been a part of my nature now. It is something I appreciate in order to reconnect with myself after my last relationship. Okay. And I guess that brings another question though. How long does it take for you to reconnect with yourself? Did the pandemic give you enough time to reconnect with yourself? You know, how do you deal with this? And for me, and I'm just speaking for myself, after my last relationship, I just said, okay, I need a rest. I really need a rest. Even though I even though I went out on a date the very next night, though, but that's another story for another day. Still, you miss that extra bodies being around. And again, not necessarily the relationship. Hey, look at family. Look at your friends that you used to hang out with. Well, at least let me speak for myself. The friends I used to hang out with prior to. That stuff kind of plays on your mind though. You know. Who else? Who do we have here? We got y'all. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Angela Turner. Post pandemic, I think most singles either shifted to craving affection in a relationship more or became more isolated and preferred being alone. I definitely desire companionship, but not at the expense of my peace, integrity, or assignment. Sis Archer, thank God for therapy and having an emotional support animal. I have suffered all three types. I am truly ready for a human companion. What breed? Is it a cat? And if it's a pup, what breed of pup? Let us know. Be fun as a pit bull. Rianne, unfortunately, we must also remember that there are those who are in relationships who are lonely due to the state of their relationship. It not just singles who experience loneliness. That's one of the worst feelings is being in a relationship and you still feel like you're by yourself. That's one of the worst feelings right there. You might as well be a zombie, correct? That's one of the worst feelings though. Let me get to Tiffany Murphy. I think about that person a lot. I've been lonely and had to refocus. And when I stopped moving out of the desperation and started to move in purpose, that door opened. I like that. Lynn, holidays and certain days I do feel lonely most. And I also am an empty nester. So that is also why I do feel it more. Okay. How old is your youngest? And how long they been gone? That, let us know in the comment section if we're not being too nosy. Cassandra, good to have you here. It depends on the relationship and the person. Okay. Erica, I agree with this completely. I want to share some of those moments with that someone. Pastor Walters. Let me get to this. Pastor. Having alone time is good, but being alone 24/7 can have its drawbacks. In other words, it can suck. Absolutely. Absolutely. You want that touch. You want that communication. You want that socializing. You just want that physical engagement with your friends, your family, and most of all, with that special person in your life. I get you. Yvonne, glad to have you here, ma'am. I'm going to admit it. I want a godly man in my life. But sometimes folks try to make it seem like it's something wrong with desiring companionship. I believe that's why a lot of us don't want to admit that we want someone in our life because of the negativity behind it. And that's interesting right there. I think some of the ones who feel like that are probably the ones who had bad relationships in the past themselves. They ain't happy. They don't want to see you happy. It's always great to have an equally yoked person because when God joined together, no man can put asunder. God will give us the desires of our heart. Andrea, that time frame is different for everyone. Taking the time to heal is key and allow you to take inventory of the relationship and why it didn't work. Sister Williams Archer, a dog, probably a mutt though. He came from the Humane Society. Nothing wrong with that. As long as y'all get along fine, hey, that's great though. There's a difference between loneliness and being alone. And they are not synonymous, even though they can happen at the same time though. But guess what? You're right about that. Barton Wallace, it's always good to be honest about where you are and not pretend that you are not having lonely moments. I believe that once you sit down, reevaluate, refocus, and reset with prayer, you can see things in a new light and life. It's always good to be honest about where you are. It's all right to say that you're not okay. Okay. Hey, Minister Ruth, glad to have you here. I've been there with loneliness without a relationship, and with a relationship, not a good feeling at all. Dr. Wilbanks, before the COVID pandemic, reconnecting with myself has been slow because of so many lost family members and loved ones. After those days moving forward, I am still learning to make time to look at myself in the mirror and see the wonders or where I've come from. Okay. My youngest is 25 years old. My children are all married. Oh, wow. That's definitely an empty nester right there. They got their own worlds going on. So, okay. It could be because of a long distance relationship. Long distance, yeah, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Some people have long distance relationship in the group, SBCC, Single Black Christian Connections, and long distance and got married and doing great. So it's not for everybody, but it can work if you put in the work and you can afford to do the traveling though, and you got the time. Absolutely is okay. I will answer yes, yes, yes. There have been a few men that could not handle that I am an ordained minister, but I'm still human and definitely not perfect. I feel and get lonely too, and I love the Lord with all my heart. I'm not forcing Christ on any man, but I do have a standard I live by. Some just can't handle it, but I'm still a woman. I want my special life lasting person. Okay. Zena, glad to have you here. Vacation, special events, challenges are when I'm the loneliness, of course. Most of the other times I've filled with other things. I think that's why it's hard for me to date now because I am busy. And that's interesting right there. Hey, Teresa, glad to have you here with us. Let me see. Renee, I can definitely say I would like to date relationship, but it's the quality of dating has gotten worse, in my opinion, since the pandemic has hit. Tiffany, even after you have found someone, you still have to connect and reconnect with yourself. This is necessary to be healthy in the relationship. Okay. Santi, yes, sis. Church folks would try to make you believe you aren't praying enough or studying the word enough when you express loneliness. They want you to think that Jesus is all that you need. But I remind them that even scripture does not support loneliness. It's not good for a man to be alone. Mm, 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 mm. That's it right there. I don't have a problem with long distance relationship. Yeah, preaching. I think I assume you're talking to Santi and the other sisters in here. Okay. Everybody needs love, especially that kind of love you can't go not one day without. Wow. Okay. Now I got another video. This be the final video for this topic though. And this young lady says she has no friends or what have you though. So she says she has no friends. It's kind of an interesting it's an interesting video though. So let me take this down. So y'all take a listen.
The next lesson I've learned is don't cling to people who don't nourish you or grow you in some kind of way. Like your girlfriend or boyfriend in high school might be perfect for you in that stage of your life, but as you grow and evolve, it's natural and even healthy to, meet other partners that are better suited for you, that align to the person you've grown to be. And that's okay. We're all just kind of finding our way through life, and not everyone is meant to stay on that road with you forever. The other thing I learned is that yes, some people you naturally outgrow, you naturally let go, but others need a little push out the door. You have a gut feeling when someone is just not good energy. Cutting the cord with these people really comes from a place of being confident in who you are and knowing that you're a good friend, knowing that you deserve to have good friends, knowing that you're not so hard up to be around people that you'll surround yourself with bad company. Like romantic relationships, good friendships are worth the wait. The next lesson I learned about friendships is that putting yourself out there is uncomfortable. But putting yourself out there, going to events, saying hi to people, that only gives you a better likelihood of finding a person you click with. Which brings me to the next lesson I learned, which is confidence is key.
Okay, SBC, what say you? Have there been friends you've outgrown? And during this isolated season, during the pandemic, and this might be mean to say though, but have you discovered that you're doing better by not being around those friends? You've discovered a freedom, so to speak, you know, and post-pandemic, are you deciding to go out and hobnob and meet other people? You know, what are you doing? You know, and I'm waiting on y'all. Y'all probably ain't got no answer. Okay. Uh, and if not, well, you know what? Going once, twice. Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. Renee. Some people come into your life for a season and some for a lifetime. Excuse me. Carmelita, yes, the pandemic just accelerated me breaking some ties. Same here. Same here. Rianne Love, I have definitely outgrown friends, especially now that I am focused on my walk with God. Erica, I'm definitely out more now. I would say there were relationships I've outgrown. Sherry, I had a friend I had to let go. He was always needed. And being a caring person I started to feel it was time to let go. And I did. I'm dealing with that right now. It's tough, but I'm dealing with that right now. And yes, I have found new friends since the world has opened back up. And I love that I am reconnected with some others. And that's good right there. Yes, some people were toxic during the pandemic, and I have a clear slate. I hear you. Sharice, glad to have you here, ma'am. Definitely, it is key to continue to live as opposed to sitting around dwelling in past hurts and past relationships, which were never healthy to begin with. Wow. My circle is small by by design, many associations, but few friends. I need to get out more, though. That's me right there. Okay, let me get my breath. Bro Reggie. He that has friends must show him yourself friendly. So one has to ask themselves, why am I alone? If you are happy being alone and really don't want anyone, that's cool. But if not, then maybe one needs to change how they present themselves. Man, woman was not meant to be alone. Everyone needs someone, not always for a relationship, but for interaction. Well said, sir. I'm dealing with it now. Finally letting go of toxicity feels so good. Praise God. Tracy, good to have you. I think the pandemic has shown everyone just how valuable life is. And you don't want to live it with people who don't appreciate who you are and the things you enjoy. That's a word right there. I had already cut folks off before the pandemic. My best friend got married during the pandemic to her other best friend. We still talk every other day and hang out whenever she's in town or if I'm in their area. Okay. Rena, I was just going to quote that some people came for a season, reason, and possibly a lifetime. Oh, yes, if they want to go or walk away, let them go. Y'all coming through. Also, I say that I do go out as well. I try not to wait on anyone anymore. For example, I like comedy shows, live music. I got tired of waiting for folks to make up their mind. I just go and have myself a good time. Okay. When you open yourself up to new avenues and new things, you can see that you may have been in some places or relationships too long. And as the young lady said, sometimes you need a push. Sometimes we have to consider that maybe there are some things within ourselves as well that God needs to change. Yep. I was talking with a good friend today. Sometimes if you lost so many friends and not necessarily on them, there might be a common denominator. It might be something wrong with you. That's a good one right there. Mark, I had to let go of one. I hate that I had to, but the friend's demeanor was sketchy. Too much stubbornness is not my thing to get into. Okay, y'all coming in. That is good right there. Off. Okay. I understood that. I have no problem taking myself to dinner or anywhere else. I will drive to a different state for it. I get out and talk to people. Okay. Angela, my friend circle has always been small. I'm friendly to everyone, but confide in few. I am very selective with who I let into my emotional and spiritual space. I am at the age where I get irritated with foolishness. I am too. And my friends are like minded. Most of my friends are married. Sis Coleman, it was during the pandemic that I had discovered that it was my season. In several relationships to let go, I drew closer to God and saw things for what they were. I've definitely made room for true happiness. Rhonda from Florida, glad to have you here. I think the pandemic revealed things in relationships and in oneself person that you would never seen before. Okay. Zena, I've had to let go of dear friends that I frankly couldn't handle emotionally anymore. I understand. Self-preservation had to kick in and I had to take care of Zena first. Now I feel a lot lighter. And let me put a pin right there. Self-care. Now that might sound like a buzzword, a buzz term now, but guess what? Self-care is profoundly important. You got to take care of yourself first. You have to take care of yourself first. And even though you love those friends, though, but if they're doing things that make your toes itch, you know, and stressing you out, it's time to either just cut the cord or at least give yourself a good distance, though. So, yeah, I'm definitely with you. Yes, exactly. Self-care is important. And self-care, especially now more than ever. And what? Or your butt. That's what I wanted to say, though. But, I can't do that, though. And right? Take care of you. Take care of you. Absolutely. Lynn Brown. I have a friend from school days until now. We are both single. We go out together at times, and that's pretty good right there. Nothing wrong with that. Go out with each other. Enjoy. Have a good time. Take care of yourselves, though. But definitely take care of yourself, though. Make sure things are working out for you, because you only have one you. That's all. Okay? So that's enough of that. I got one more thing. Wasn't going too much going to do it, though. Of course, they won't let me do this right here. Yes, that in the fifth. Make sure you do that. Okay. Just a little, some of y'all may find it funny. Some of y'all may not see the humor in it. Let me do this one right here. Y'all take a look at this one.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Sebastian,
Yes, ma'am.
what you doing?
Nothing. Chilling.
Chilling?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, chilling means you ain't doing nothing. I need your help with something.
What's up? What you need? Talk to me.
I need help with cleaning out my storage shed. I got a lot of stuff in there I need help. B. You heard? B. That's my phone. What's wrong with my phone? Dang, it's doing it again. Babe! It done froze on me again. God dog it. Hey, Caleb.
Oh, hey, Brendan.
What you doing? I'm sitting up here trying. Wait a minute! Sebastian, you heard me? Ain't nothing wrong with my phone. Oh, what's wrong? Sebastian, I need your help. Don't be trying to play no trick with me. My phone ain't froze. Ain't nothing wrong with my phone. It's you.
Well. I'm going to try that one day. Well, folks, it's time for the announcements. We out of time. That hour went by fast. We are shown enough. We shown enough out of time. Time for the announcements. Coming up next in about maybe 35 minutes, we're going to have the after party. Make sure you bring your snacks, your beverages, your cold drinks, and everything else. Make sure you come and join us. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a great time at the after party. And then if it's the Lord's will, we'll see each other next week on another edition of Tuesday Talk. And again, tentatively, I want it to be Tuesday Talk, but then things happen. It could be shoot your shot. I don't know, but tentatively, it's going to be this show right here, Tuesday Talk. And that is about it. Thank y'all so much for your presence. Thank y'all so much for your support and your participation. Thank you for everything, though. And we'll see you at the after party. And if not, y'all take care of yourselves. And if it's the Lord's will, we'll see each other next Tuesday, okay? Until then, see y'all later. Alligator.